Good day, Icky here, yet again. It is Tuesday, March the 30th, and it is a beautiful day. I'm outside soaking up some sun and boiling maple sap because the sap is really running today. Now, I just restoked the fire, so it's probably going to take it half an hour to bring the sap back up to a boil again, but then it'll boil for a couple hours. Wanted to talk about a long time ago, my family dog when I was growing up on the farm. Can't say he was my dog. He was my sister's dog. Long story, and I will attempt to relate. Dad was farming some rental property about 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile from our farm, and was bringing hay in. My sisters were helping with that because I had very intense allergies as a kid. I was never allowed to do field work, so I was always in the barn. So my sisters noticed I don't know whether it was an old church or an old schoolhouse, very much abandoned. There was a dog tied up outside, and on the second day, after noticing nobody was there, my oldest sister took him over some water. Realized there was nobody around to look after him, let him off his chain, and brought him home. From that day on, he was very much my sister's dog. Later, when she went to university and came home again, he would go ecstatic. I loved that dog, but he was never mine. Later, when we had the vet check him out, the vet said he was half border collie, half coyote. 50-pound dog, golden in color, absolutely gorgeous. Years later, when I had another dog, again a border collie, 50 pounds, I went to put Flipper's collar on her and had to cut 7 notches out of it. He had an absolutely massive neck. Never an inside dog, always slept outside. I remember one Christmas Eve, and I hope I'm not telling tales that my parents would regret, but Flipper, again, an outside dog, showed up at the back porch with a roast beef frozen on a very ornate platter. Dad didn't know who it belonged to, pried the roast beef off, gave it to the dog, told me to go bury the platter in the manure pile and never talk about it to anybody. It was somebody's Christmas dinner that the dog had taken off with. Maybe as karma, a year later, Christmas Eve, Flipper showed up at the door with a very much broken jaw. His lower jaw was hanging sideways about 2 inches. Dad called the vet. The vet said, realign it, leave him outside in the cold, it'll set. So I was given the job. The dog was absolutely excellent through this. He sat there, let me grab this broken jaw, align it till I felt the bones snap into place, and we left him out in his doghouse. It was beastly cold for the next week, and he recovered 100%. About 2 years after that, he tangled with a porcupine. Had about 50 quills in his face, neck, and tongue. Dad handed me the pliers and said, "You know the routine." I sat there actually on a hay wagon with the dog, and he sat there whimpering every time I pulled a quill out, but let me pull all 50 out. And I'm guessing at 50, but it had to be at least that many. Years after that even, this dog was around for a long time. A groundhog got into the barn. Flipper was very much enjoying tormenting him and showing off. It was a hot summer's day. His tongue was hanging out. He got a little too show-offish. Got close to the groundhog, who bit him. I checked later, there was literally a hole through his tongue. Flipper lost it. Grabbed the groundhog by the head, bit, and spat the head out. Literally bit it off in one go. Excellent dog. Later, when the farm was sold and we moved to town, medical issues with my dad, we could no longer farm. I was not old enough to take the farm over, so it was sold. The dog was left with the new owners. In about 3 weeks, we had moved about 15 miles. The dog started showing up at the new house. Dad would not let me keep him, and every time he showed up, I was told to deliver him back to the farm. This went on for a couple of months, and eventually he stopped showing up at either place, so I don't know what happened to Flipper. But that dog will always hold a special place in my heart. Bailey, who is my girl, and I would protect her with my life, and I feel she would do the same for me, is not my dog. Bailey is my daughter's dog. She's the one that adopted him when she was little. They bonded, and I will never be able to break that bond and don't want to. Anyways, that's enough for today. I'll get back to you later. Icky out for now. It's the journey, not the destination, people.